That might be a good thing.
What's that?
All right, I think we are live now. Good
Sorry, I was
morning,
just
Scott.
good morning, Jenna. I was just sharing.
Just sharing.
I was sharing the link.
Oh, okay. Sharing.
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 Sharing the link
All
that
right.
you sent.
All right, let's see if I can pull. We have a dedicated project this morning
Yay!
that came through
Because
double.
I was creating them over the weekend. What do we have?
We have from Maggie. She has, ooh, hello. Forgot I don't have to type in my passwords on this one because they're already done. She is an agency like myself, and she has a client or clients in the private school daycare type of space. And this is going to be kind of a me and a you thing today. I'm going to be creating a customer value journey for her clients, in generally speaking. And her clients, the preschool, so not her as an agency, but the schools, the private schools, preschools, they are having issues selling. So she gets them the leads. She does her job as a marketer, gets them in the room, and they drop the ball in the sell. We got Murphy over here with jokes. Beauty and the Beast. Wait, I said that with my outside typing. But
It's only because he has my shotgun.
I know, right? One of our big clients, Musical Arts Schoolhouse, once I get them in the building, they close at 80%.
Yeah.
All the hard work's been done in the marketing, right? And
yeah, I mean, if people come in, that's the one thing that I love about what's going on with this is when we get it fine-tuned enough and you get people to raise their hand, the rest is easy. The rest is simply answering. It's not even objections. That's why in the 7 steps of empowering your sales, it's welcome the objection. It's not, oh my God. It's what can I answer for you? So when you do your wizardry, it makes the other part easy.
That's exactly it. So let me go find, I've got a pretty little customer value journey. Here we go. I don't know if it has my branding or Kyvio's, but we'll pick it up here.
Don't know.
Kyvio branding. All good though. Same thing. All right, let me download this snazzy little PDF. It's pretty sad that all of my own worksheets are all in the cloud. I have to go to my own Kyvio account
to get it.
But it's the safest place for it.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't have to pay for the storage. Okay, let me share some screen here. You know what? I might have to actually share my whole screen. Let's see if that works out. Or I can just share the preview screen.
Cool.
I think I can. Let's see what we got here. And add it to the broadcast. We got Sean here. Great morning. Thanks for showing people what's possible when you have the right people helping the right people. Oh. Yep. Big screen. There we go. So customer value journey. So value journey worksheet. Customer. I'll work on that later. The idea of the customer value journey is a step-by-step, and I think one of the reasons the school that we worked with did amazingly well is in a lot of different directions we broke the mold on what was normal and acceptable. Let me go over here. I think I got a little writing tool somewhere. Sign painter. That sounds like it'll be super fun. How do I make the text show up now?
Wow.
There we go. So over here in awareness, let me get a sizable font that will work.
That we can see.
I know. Let me see if I can. There we go.
That's good.
See if we can make the whole box visible. Here we go. So awareness, that is how somebody's going to originally find you. And I might, let's change that up a little bit. Make it bigger. We'll even leave it blue. Why not?
Sure.
I'm actually going to scroll up, though, to what they did really well, and not what I did well, but what they already did well. When they get in the door, the school, the first thing they do is, one, they offer a tour. A very
Nice.
specific tour, so sign up with a tour. And after that tour, they get a goodie bag. So I'm always a big fan of like a premium. That includes a book that was co-written by a New York Times bestseller. You know this one, Canfield?
Jack.
Jack Canfield. Is that the right last name?
That is the right last name.
There you go. So I'm kind of there. It includes a coloring book for the kids that's completely got their logo and everything on it. It has everything from pricing. It has why a musical education is better than another education. And that musical could be whatever specific education. The part that was not working for them, well, the big one was awareness, engagement. They had no subscription, which is common to a lot of brick and mortar. Like their subscription is somebody calls and gives a phone number.
Right.
At their convert stage, they didn't really have, other than the tour, they didn't have another convert stage. So what we kind of did was expanded it out. So our first one was, one, they had terrible awareness in the marketplace, even though they had been there for like 7 years when we got there. Other schools were doing exceptionally well. Some had better knowledge in the area, like where if you go to a mom group and you're like, where should I send my kid to school? There was one predominant school that was just being listed everywhere. And I was like, how is that humanly possible? Well, because their kids only go to school for about 2 hours a day, which means you have to be a stay-at-home mom, which means you have time for Facebook. Their school costs more, even though per the hour it does not cost more. And it was actually one of the most expensive ones. So now we're trying to sell one of the most expensive private school programs for pre-K and private kindergarten. And it has the least amount of awareness. It has the most difficult way to find it. And so it's a really hard pitch. They were great when they get inside. We got Sean here, customer value journey. If folks sat without a title, wow. Hard for the seller to walk in the footsteps of the customer. It is, but when you force yourself to do it, it is game-changing to your business. So awareness, the big one, is just going to be Google Ads for them. And the reason that is because of Google Ads, because people are actively searching for a solution to their problem. Not even Facebook ads, not word of mouth, because word of mouth is not dependable, not some organic, viral, anything. Suck it up, pay the toll.
Got it.
That's just it. Now, your Google ads have to be great. They have to drive some attention of some sort, right? There has to be something great. So in the Google ads, we had a couple of different variations. I had one that went to a blog post, and that blog post was like the top 10 best preschools in Frisco, Texas. Very directional. Like the nice thing about a small brick and mortar, especially when it comes to private schools, preschools, you know, it's such a tight nature. People are not going to drive 30 minutes to get to preschool, which means your targeting on Google Ads can be hyper specific, like zip codes, right? I only want this tiny city, this city, this city, and that city, because those are the only people who are going to drive to that brick and mortar location.
Correct.
So that makes it easy. So that was our blog post. So one, that's going to be found in search engine optimization. So you don't depend on search engine optimization, but that blog post created search engine optimization that took us to the blog post. We took some of our Google ad traffic and we took it to the blog post. We took another set of Google traffic and we spent it directly on the school's name. Now, we're not really going to acquire new customers that way, but when people are specifically searching us out because they're already at our school and they need to find the link, or their friend gave them a recommendation, they can easily find it. And the price is super low on your own name. It's not like you're trying to compete against Walmart. When you have your own unique name as a preschool private school, it's literally like 80 cents, $5.60 each month to advertise on Google Ads for your own name to ensure that you pop up at the very top above your competitors, in addition to any organic search engine optimization, if your website is even coded right for that.
Nice.
The third one that we took for Google Ads we had them go to a landing page. So we used landing page software like hello, to create a landing page. And on that landing page, we did some research, and I actually called several parents, and then myself being a parent with 3 children, and then we researched all the competitors. And you know what preschools never mention online? Price. It's what parents all want to know. Can I even begin to afford their school in the first place? So they all wanted price. So that was what we asked. Like, hey, here's some general information about our school. But more importantly, if you want to find out more, including the price, put your information here and we'll email it to you.
Nice.
And on the very next page, on the very top line, after we thank them for downloading and showing interest, I tell them in the copy, your pricing information and the information in our school is on the way to your inbox. This way, if they gave me a bad email address, they now have to go back to the previous screen and put in their good one.
And fix it.
Fix it. Give me the good one. On this page, and this was to me what I think was the biggest change. Everyone else kind of does some variation. Most people don't offer price online, but I did get it through the subscription. But the other thing most schools don't allow is any kind of scheduling online. So we used an online scheduler, like Book Like a Boss. This one we actually used Acuity because it was before Book Like a Boss came online. And on the thank you page, we offered schedule a discovery day. So this became our convert, was this discovery day. So now we've got their information, we actually convert them in time. So we're not converting in money, we're converting in time.
Nice.
On that page, you could automatically schedule your kid for 4 hours of a daycare program. Now, for any parent who's a little strung out, that's 4 hours of free daycare.
Good point.
That is like a blessing right there. We used Google Calendar. We basically put all the holidays on there, closed off all the weekends, everything like that, and said that anybody could schedule on their own 1 kid a day. And if you happen to have 3 kids, call and we'll make arrangements for your kids, but essentially 1 family a day, because what happens when a kid tries out of school for the first time and gets ditched by their parents? They cry.
Yeah, somebody's got to take care.
One of the problems was we couldn't handle too many criers at one time. So by only allowing 1 new person per day, and that also created some scarcity because at this point in time, it's hard to even get a day with them.
Right.
You might be scheduling a month in advance, or you have to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, can you get me in earlier so I can see this school? But this ability to discover a discovery day, and my client, I'm not going to lie, was not keen to it at first. Her thought was that she would be used and abused as daycare. And I get that because no one wants to waste their time. But if you get them in your building, you've already made like such a big leap and jump over and above the competition. They're still just calling and using contact forms for everybody else. You've now given them the ability to automatically schedule online and get 4 free hours. And that idea came from, I was actually searching for care for my own kids. My son got kicked out of daycare. We put him in a Montessori and we told him, like, my kids have never been in daycare. This is going to be new. And we're like, let's try it out for a month. It hadn't even been a full week. They weren't even on full days yet. And they called me at 10:30 in the morning and like, come get your son. I'm like, what window did he break? Did he break someone's nose?
Nice.
Like, what happened? Like, it's so bad that you're like, come get your kid. And their biggest advertisement was, we have 2 bachelor degrees, Montessori trained teachers in every classroom. So I was like, if anyone can do it, this school can do it. And I found out all he did was take toys off the shelf. He was so excited. He wanted to check out all these little Montessori things, and they didn't like that. And they wanted just robots. So I went to like 20 different schools, and I'm dropping my kid off. One school offered a 4-day, half day for free. So I was like, that's cool. And as I'm leaving that school, I see that there's another preschool right next door that's brand new. They're not on Google. They're not on any listing. They literally only opened that week. And so I stop in to grab information. And as I'm leaving, remember, they have nobody. They still have to bring in teachers. They don't really have any students because they're brand new. And as I'm walking out the door, she's like, hey, wait a second. What if we give you a free week of half days? You mean a free week? Right? Wait a second. My kid gets a free week to try you out. No strings attached, because we had to pay all these upfront fees, over $1,000 in non-refundable fees to this other school. And there's a free week. I was like, huh, all right. So I explained this what happened to my client. I was like, let's do the free discovery day. I mean, that's the easy peasy one. And if after you have that kid and the parent is still like, because the first day can be hard, right? On the way out the door, if you really want that specific family, not for all families, but to the families you're like, man, that would be a great kid for our program, offer them the free week of half days. Because right here is the excite one. If your kid is indoctrinated, they're not leaving.
Right. Well, what's interesting is you just hit what we talked about on Friday too, and that is what's in it for them. Put yourself in their shoes.
Yep.
Right. They put themselves into your shoes, and you had a very real issue that needed to be taken care of right then and there. And so that's the other thing we talked about last week was be open to possibilities. In other words, all of a sudden there was a possibility, there was a challenge, there was something that
there's an objective.
You didn't necessarily walk in there jumping up and down going, hey, I've got an issue, but all of a sudden a possibility showed up. So that was awesome.
No, it is. And they could have, anybody else, any other school I've pitched that to, they're like, oh gosh, no. And hey, if you've only got one spot to fill, you don't need to do that. That particular school had just room as far as the eye can see, and they have to have a teacher in each school room for each school age. That nailed it. So when I went over there and I suggested this, they do a couple things. Like when they get the kid in for that discovery day, they make sure to take all sorts of pictures. Like when they're in the music room, there's a picture of your kid playing the piano. When they're in the art room, there's a picture of them making art. When they're in the theater room, there's a picture of them on stage. They ensure that specific child experiences each part of their school, takes a picture of it, and sends it during the day to the parent. To the parent, they're telling them, hey, we're going to make sure we take some pictures so that you know your kid is doing all right. So we're going to give you peace of mind, right?
Right.
But the other side of that is your kid is becoming indoctrinated to the school. He's seeing all the different fun things that you can do that's specific. He's getting to meet friends. If you do it for 4 hours because that's all that your school can handle, that's okay. If you can get them for a week of half days, both the parent and the child have literally changed their average day. Yeah. That is an easy sell. And if you can figure out that that's okay, I'm not saying do this for families all the time, but once per family, when they're making a decision, because once a parent decides to put their kid in school, they're making that decision fast. And so our emails, I set them up with an email, and she would know it, but we did Ryan Dice's machine.
Mm-hmm.
I softened the copy up a little bit because the machine copy can be a little hard hitting, but we were still like, hey, look, I'm going to stop emailing you because you've obviously made another decision. And out of all the thousands of people that they've brought in and that this subscription has worked for, this lead magnet has worked for, a handful complained, maybe 5 parents, 10 parents. And the teachers kind of freaked out. The director freaked out. They're like, oh my gosh, it's too much. Maybe we're emailing too much. I was like, look, in 5 weeks, you doubled enrollment. In 5 weeks, you doubled enrollment with this email series, with these specific landing pages, with these specific ads. Why do you care? So a couple parents are ticked off because you sent them too many emails. The other parents are fine. You gave them the information they needed at that time to make the decision that needed to be made. So you get them in there, and then it's just a matter of getting them at least for one day. I would probably argue 2 days. That's probably the most common. 2 days of daycare. So a lot of daycares offer a couple different options. There's a 2-day. They had actually another one. It was a half day. So you have a half day option. You could do it in 2-day increments. You could do it in 3-day increments. And with this particular company, they would even let you do 4. Most schools do 2-day and 3-day. The 3-day has to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The 2-day has to be Tuesday, Thursday. This school just let you pick. They're one of the most expensive schools. So offering a little flexibility, in my opinion, is offering that premium service.
Well, that's value add.
Yeah, that's that value added. In some cases, it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So as it happens, we sat down recently. We have a lot of Mondays to fill and a lot of Fridays to fill. So I told them, just drop the price on those days. Put together a little 2-day program and give them a special reduced price if they take Mondays and Fridays. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you're just looking to make your child kindergarten ready, instead of just being completely stuck on you, that's fine. And then, of course, here at the top, we have full days every day. So full day, all that. The other option is they actually had a very hard-to-sell program. They thought, I did not know this until recently, kindergarten. They had a kindergarten program. Prior to hiring me, they were going to close that program down. Really? Last year was going to be the last year for it. And they still seriously debated it. But because the classroom was so full and pre-booked by like March of last year, they kept their kindergarten program. Now, whether they want to keep that in the future, I have no idea, because you could just as easily, at this point, now that they're full, they could just as easily turn that into another preschool program that would be a lot easier to sell than maintaining a kindergarten program. And that's also one of the most expensive programs they offer. After their kindergarten program, they still get to keep the kids because they can roll them into the music, art lessons, music, art, dance.
Nice.
They have that. So this is actually a very complimentary program. The school was originally music, arts, performing arts. They have a big building, though. Actually, they have 2 buildings. They have their main building with all the classrooms, and they have a second building that actually has a stage. The problem is most people can't do lessons during the middle of the day. You're working. You can't take your kid, right? And they're going to school. So most of their programs were only from, 3 o'clock on. So you're paying for all of this real estate, all of this building, all of the lights. Why not find something to do with the earlier part of the day? So the idea of having a preschool and a private kindergarten was a secondary income.
Nice.
When I got there, they were doing $750 a year, and now they're doing about $1.1 million a year in that particular program.
That's
so
awesome.
A program that was there just to fill the space is now becoming a large earner for them.
And they got to be there anyway. It's perfect.
You got to be there anyway. You're already paying for the real estate. Now you have to do, some little shimmying after 3 o'clock to make sure. I mean, they have dedicated preschool rooms, a dedicated kindergarten room. But now the kindergartners, now this was the part that I learned was a big selling point that I had to integrate into all the selling pieces, is they did 5 shows a year. That meant your kid, your preschool kid, from ages 3 to, let's say, 6 in the private kindergarten, was actually on stage. And when I actually called people as part of my research to determine what part of this school made people want to go, when she mentioned there was 5 different events each year, I was like, whoa, my kid hangs on my skirt. Like, if I just talk to one person, how is your kid on stage and not terrified at 3? And she's like, okay, well, the first one, it was a little rough. There was a lot of tears. And the second one, iffy. But by the 3rd time, she owned the stage. So part of your excite, remember, if you'll see this diagram here, the excite goes to the ascend goes to advocate, but the advocate goes back down to excite. And you make this circle here all the time. You constantly need to be getting people to advocate for you. So this could be simply just asking for a Facebook review. This could be asking for, you're not technically, let me put the little thing, for Yelp, you're not supposed to ask for the review, but I'm going to put it here anyway. You can say review us on your favorite social media sites. Google review is another good one to help build those out. And it's not a big ask. Hook them up if they do with a gift card. I think that definitely goes against terms of service for Yelp. But Google review, Facebook reviews, those don't really have terms of service at this point for reviews yet. But get them to advocate for you. Get them to be on video. Like, they're constantly filming. I was like, snag a parent and just film the people coming in and out of the event and put together an edited video of the entire ordeal, right? But by doing that, you're exciting the parents. They get to come into the school and see their kid. My daughter's actually in the school at this point, and she's going to be the sugar plum fairy and the nutcracker for Christmas. And she's
nice.
And the costumes are exquisite. It is part of that excite phase. If you have the parents at your school, you should be focusing on exciting them. Bread and circuses, feed them and entertain them. Make them, give them those great photo opportunities. When you get parents taking pictures and your logo's in the background or they're tagging you on Facebook, that is an advocate. Even if they are not actively putting you in a review site, every single person that is a friend of them is seeing the pictures of your kid in the stunningly sparkly sugar plum fairy, costume or the little toy soldier, and they're all over Facebook. And guess what? Moms have a tendency to be friends with other moms.
Other moms. Well, that's a third-party endorsement is obviously the greatest way of doing it. And, you can sit there and pound your chest about how great your school is or how great your service is or how great anything is. But what do I expect you to say? I expect you to say that you're really awesome. Why would you not say that? But the fact is, to have somebody else say you're awesome, and or again, it's a subtle presentation of putting yourself into their situation. Right now, all of a sudden, you have the kids, or you have the parents so happy about their kids' performance, the kids so happy about their own performance, all those kinds of things. It makes it really so much easier. Let them feel themselves going into that place. It's awesome.
Yep, exactly. And then at Christmas, I'm trying to think of all the little different things that they do here. At Christmas, they actually sent a ornament to my house. I feel like that's not spelled right, but it's not telling me otherwise. Let's see what other. They actually do a direct mail campaign. It's pricey, and it's terrible, and it's actually how I found them as a client. There was one week I got 3 different letters from them. On one of those days, I got 2 letters at the same time. Just constant paper, just constantly being sent out. Black and white, super boring, a bunch of stuff I don't care about. It would have been great if that same flyer was going to already existing clients, because it was talking about the students and what they were learning.
Right.
But as a new person, and I'm their ideal market, I got so tired. I was like, dude, you're killing trees. Like, you, yourself, your own business is just slaughtering rainforest. Like, that's how much direct mail you're sending. That is how worthless it is. I sat down one Christmas because, business is slower. You're at home with your family. Every now and then you get a little bored. The kids go to school or kids go to sleep. So I took all this mail and I sorted all the junk mail out that I was just tired of getting, put it in a pile, and I sat by the fireplace with the dogs and the kids. And I just wrote a bunch of custom scathing audits, with this one company being the whole purpose of this audit. And I went through their website, I went through their social media, anything I could find online with the tools that I have. And I was basically like, you're doing a sucky job. And your website sucks, and your copy sucks, and there's too much of it. And I'm sure your school is great, you're the ideal customer, and you are flagging it.
Yeah, you're not representing the quality of your education, your school, and everything else.
I was like, you're an art school, and you're sending me black and white, and your website is not attractive? Like, it's got so many words on it. When I went to the website, I was so overwhelmed. I was almost like, I just can't. I was like, too much words, too much. What is that? Too long, didn't read, TLDR. I was like, I'm out. And then her response was, we have a large Indian population and they have to know everything. And they want to know what their kid is doing every second of the day. And then I just told them, like, there's a customer value journey. And they don't need to know everything as soon as they become aware you exist. They need to know just enough of that croc brain to say, this is a good idea. And at the point that they subscribe to you, then you can start sending them all that information. And if they want more information and they want to know exactly what's going on, then they can schedule a discovery day, come actually visit, and every step of the way you get a chance to help them the way they want to be helped at the level that they're ready for. And at the end of the day, you're still not dealing with the croc brain, especially when it comes to your kids. It's not all about the information. They just want to know that their kid is safe. They're going to be kindergarten ready so that they can be college ready, so that they can make six-figure salaries, not be poor, have a retirement, and get the hell out of your house. It really is. That was what I was
End goal.
End goals. You're selling end outcomes, changing their average day, changing their average life, and creating a status for their kids that go way beyond. You're not selling your curriculum. All these schools want to sell this fancy curriculum. The parent doesn't care about the curriculum. A, you're not the only curriculum in town. Let's say a Montessori. You're all using the exact same curriculum. So how do you differentiate yourself?
Right.
When it comes to that, I realized when that girl was talking about how her daughter was on stage, that there is a whole process you're selling that most people are completely missing. They're not buying the curriculum. At that point, they're buying the fact that you're going to give them the curriculum and the stage experience so that they're not afraid of public speaking, which is the number one fear, right? Mm-hmm. But then they're going to go, what does that even mean? They're 3 years old, right? They're 4 years old. When they go to kindergarten, especially that girl, because girls for musical art school are the predominant, population there. When she goes to kindergarten, unlike the other girls, which this is a major problem with girls, she's going to raise her hand and ask questions because she will not be afraid when everyone turns around and stares at her because she's already used to that, right? And she'll continue that throughout her school career. And in middle school and high school, she'll take leadership positions because, again, she's not afraid of people looking at her. She's not afraid to be the one the leader, literally the leader. And that's going to look good on college applications. And because she's had an entire lifetime of raising her hand to ask questions, she got her questions answered. So she got smarter. And every single time she got better and better and better and more comfortable and more comfortable. She gets into a good school. She does the exact same things. She gets into the workforce and she does the exact same things. She nails interviews because she's not afraid to talk to people. She's not afraid to negotiate. And when it comes down, she's not afraid to be Sheryl Sandberg on stage at F8 telling a bunch of really smart people what to do and be stared at by literally the entire world because she did it in preschool.
That's carrying the vision out.
It's carrying the vision out because parents don't actually care. What does the parent actually care? We need some place to put our kids while we go to work because at this point in time, it takes a two-earner household to afford the nice, safe homes that we want to live in. Or we need a place to put our kids because we went to college ourselves and we can't be brain dead teaching a kid red, white, and blue colors and ABCs. We need more. So we need a place to put our kid. But that's a commodity. There's lots of places to put our kid, ranging from churches, Mother Days out that have no permitting, by the way, in case you didn't know that, to somebody's house. We've got Montessori programs. We got free play programs. There's all sorts of places to put my kid. Why am I going to choose yours? Well, because I want something for my kid. They're about to go into K through 12, and they're going to be, in this particular case for the musical arts schoolhouse, kids are going to be subject to so many tests. They're going to be told to shut up, sit down in your chair, and do what you're told. This musical arts schoolhouse, their niche was that they are not the testing school. They're going to teach you all that stuff that the whole rest of the school is going to ignore. They're going to give you the soft skills, But if you're not able to convey this in your marketing message and your sales message, the parent's never going to know that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's key as they put themselves in your shoes through this, or that you're able to put them in your shoes, that you're able to communicate this in such a way that they can see it. And again, I think that's what a lot of people do in both their sales process and their marketing process is nobody purposely does it wrong or not good or whatever. They just they don't put themselves in the position of the people who need what it is they provide. And as soon as you do that, it's amazing how it awakens you to being able to serve more people. And again, if you actually listen and are willing to go through this value journey and understand what's here, it's pretty freaking amazing. It's not rocket surgery either. I mean, it's, it's what's right there. But having a template like this, having something to think through, is amazing how that what an aid that is. And again, working with these platforms, that's one of the things I was thinking over the weekend. Normally I do something all weekend. I mean, I'm working on different things or whatever, but this weekend was more a matter of a thinking weekend and thinking through different things. And with Kyvio and with some of these tools, all of a sudden you go, well, I can do that like bang, 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 right? So having these templates, having these tools, having this this expertise brought out, it's amazing how you can tweak your conversations, tweak your business, all those kinds of things. And if you notice, but I did start on December 1st with the 24 days of Christmas sales tips. Yeah. But that was because there's a template, right? Mm-hmm. There's an idea of let's make people aware, let's start to engage them, let's get them to start subscribing. Amazing how there's a path that works, which is you have so brilliantly identified.
Well, the path is, here's the thing. When you have a sales, this is essentially a sales process, right? We're not doing anything that's super brand new. Like I might call it something else, but essentially what we have is a sales process. It's just very well thought out, and it's combining the marketing and the sales together, right? If you have this sales process, and let's say you only have one in every single box, right? Build your first bridge, right? You only got Google Ads to a blog post, to a price download, and that takes you to a thank you page with the scheduled discovery day. You've got your email sequence out that is reminding them, go schedule your discovery day. It's the only way you're going to understand our school. Right. And then you have the indoctrinate the kid. You've got the premium bag that you give them. You're sending pics to the parents. You're indoctrinating the kid. And then you're offering, let's say just half day, full day for 5 days a week. Those are your two options. You've got asking for reviews over here. You're getting a place for them to show social images and a $50 referral when they invite their friends because, again, moms know other moms. If that's all you have, and you have people going all the way through here, and they're not closing the deal, then you know that there's either messaging wrong, something right here. But if everyone's moving along, trucking along happy, and the only thing you're doing is you're having a problem closing and getting them to secure that half day or full day, there might be something wrong with the Excite page. Or the Excite stage, right? Mm-hmm. If they're getting through here, so through the Ascension stage, they were having a hard time with the kindergarten. Such a hard time with the kindergarten. And what I had to explain to them is no one is going to go from awareness to a discovery day to paying $1,000 a month for kindergarten when you have a perfectly good free option in the city that you're living in. We're in Frisco, Texas. It's literally known in India as the city in the entire United States to raise your kids. I found that on the internet. I was like, this is a surprisingly large population. What's going on here? What is driving all the traffic here? We're very well known for our schools. So why would you pay $1,000 a month? So I learned, and I had to explain to him, I was like, I will put all the Google ads together and I will dominate private school traffic for kindergarten. I will box it in. But your real traffic for paid kindergarten is going to come from people who've already been in your school and they're going to kindergarten. And through some further discovery, we learned it's those moms who are in the cry room in kindergarten that, like, there's tears and cheers, or I don't know, they've given it some name, but it's for all the moms after they've dropped off their precious, snowflake for their first day of kindergarten, that they have to go and cry together in a room and have some coffee or something. I think it's just the teacher's way of getting them to leave the building. Like, oh, just this way. We have an event for you. Those are the kids where the mom is just super tender, and you have the other one is going to be the kids who are very artsy, who are not they're very unique children, and being in the social situation might be a little too much for them right up front, and they need a little bit more, time with mom, because at this particular school, mom can walk into the classroom and hang out for 5 or 10 minutes and pick you up early, and it's a different program. We were only able to fill this when we had already filled the other programs.
Right.
And that's where this journey, you're able to find problems. When you're having to do all this awareness work still after getting a full program. Why? You're not getting enough people to take social images, tag you in them, talk about you in them, and you're not getting people to write those reviews. You're not letting them know about the referral program. In fact, their problem at that point in time was that they were telling people too much. Every single day they were sending flyers home to review us on social media and to give about the $50 referral. And I was like, I'm a parent. I don't care. Again, to me, it's just a big stack of paper that I'm picking up and I'm dumping in the trash. Do a little program every time you do one of your big programs on stage. Offer it. Hey, we're a small business and we operate mostly on referrals. It would be great if you would take a moment, if you've enjoyed our school, to review us on Facebook, Google, Yelp, whatever your first social one. Hey, we're actually recording this on stage, so don't worry about taking video. We're going to have it on YouTube, literally live, and they allow now, it's a live YouTube feed. They got the software, so you can actively share the YouTube live feed with grandparents and dads and anyone who cannot be there live. Instant social sharing because you did live video.
Nice.
Precious Angel. Not everyone can be there, but you can do it on YouTube Live and now Facebook Live. And if you have the right software, you can do YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Any other sales tips you would say?
Well, I think what this identifies very well is, let's go back to whether it be Tony Robbins or Stephen Covey or Jack Canfield, begin with the end in mind. Know your outcome, start with a vision, however you want to say it, right? It's what's your end goal in all this?
Yep.
And the end goal is obviously happy kids, which make delighted parents, right? And the parents now, let's identify what their potential issues could be. Their potential issues could be the angst of dropping their little precious angel with somebody and not knowing what could happen, right? So you have to take away all those things. If what could happen is your kid comes out smiling and happy and, growing in their performance abilities and their socialization and their ability to talk and carry on a conversation and grow. And that it's like, oh, man. Right.
Hey,
Scott.
David says hi.
Hey, David. So again, if we go back to where we're working to get to, I think you said this is a prime example again of, as a salesperson, I don't ever want to sell you anything, but I always want you to buy a lot from me. Therefore, it's incumbent upon the presenter to create that environment for you to want to have what you have, right? So that's again going back into that. This is creating an environment. If we want our parents to promote, let's go back again. It comes back to the three absolutes and stuff that we've talked about. What's in it for them? Why would a parent promote? Well, the reason a parent promotes is because in actuality, it confirms their great choice for choosing you. It actually lifts them up. It has nothing to do with you in reality. And so again, if we start working this backwards, this entire process, which is why, having this customer journey PDF and this is we start with what would make or what would encourage a parent to promote my business? Well, the kid would have to be happy, the da 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 da. So again, if you were to list these things and go backwards, okay, so then how would that happen? How would that happen? How would that happen? That's in essence what you've done here, is by getting them to in the mind space, the headspace of wanting to promote you and your business, what had to happen to make that happen? And think as opposed to the front to back process of doing this, think of it as the back to front process of doing this, and how could you make it happen? And I think this shows a fabulous roadmap in doing that. And again, in presentation, when you don't have great conversion time available, what you have to do is anticipate all potential objections up front and build them into the presentation in advance. So that's really what you're doing. If all of a sudden the objection is, yeah, but I don't know if my kid will like it. Well, we want your kid to learn to like it, but the only way they're going to like it is to be here, right? So you give them that half day and then the 2 days and I just think or the discovery day and
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's amazing at how it all comes together. Why are you making a sad face?
Because I'm a terrible office manager and I'm out of coffee cups and all of our Business Growth Network members are coming in and I've got 0 coffee cups. All I've got is plastic.
They need to learn to tough it out on a Monday.
I should know better.
But they'll bring donuts that they can't eat without coffee. So
actually, Randy did bring donuts last time. It was great.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It's terrible if you've got a diet.
But just think, now everybody will just choke on the donuts. That's awesome.
I do like how you were saying that basically what we did in the marketing was take all the objections to the sell and essentially integrate them in. So from a very personal level, I understood that I'm really scared to put my kid in because when he got kicked out, absolute devastation. He was like, but I want to go back to my old school. Like, why can't we go back there? And this school looks so cool. It was like a castle, right? But he kept on. He was just so sad. And then that just makes me even more bitter because I'm like, you evil human beings who child out, who adored you. And I'm trying to explain to them, baby, that just wasn't the right school for you. But taking that in, that is the biggest fear that all these parents have in actually choosing a school is kids get very attached to things, whether it be a stuffed animal or a blanket or a routine. So if you put them in a school and it doesn't work out, that sucks.
Yeah, well, it does. The other side of it is it goes back to communication styles and things like that. If you're not willing to identify those potential objections, like I want to, if you like communication is a big thing for me, novel concept, right?
Right.
And yeah, funny.
Oh, dog.
Somebody is upset and communicating very clearly. But sheesh. The point is that it doesn't take much communication, but just communicate. even if you say, I can't communicate this second, I'll call you tomorrow or the next day or whatever, that communication is enough to do the communication. It's the same thing. Find out what your parents, what angst can you take off of your customer? Can you take off, what problem can you solve for them? This is why people will pay higher prices. They'll go to certain places. They'll do that because they know, even though they can get it for less money, money isn't always the determining factor. In fact, in studies, it's about number 7. Price isn't the most important thing the vast majority of time. It is, do you solve the rest of my issues?
Right there.
Well, but see, the problem is nobody else talks about their price. So the problem is not the price number, it's the price availability.
Well, for them, it was the ability to get pricing. If I wanted as a parent to get the price point, most of the time they forced me into a phone conversation. The generation right now, I'm technically a millennial. I don't want to be on the phone. Like that's not just something they make fun of us for. We really don't want to be on the phone. And when you talk about your population in the surrounding area is predominantly not English as a first language, being on the phone can be even more frustrating.
Right.
But just millennials coming down to, I don't want to have to be on the phone to 20, 30 different schools to get pricing information just to see if they're in my ballpark. If you make it really easy and I can just download it online. And then just like any other lead magnet with any other marketer would put in there, you're giving them what they want, you're giving them the value, and you're putting testimonials all over it. You're doing what you do to a downloadable lead magnet. You're creating case studies. You're talking about specific students. Here's our program. Here's what we eat for lunch. We do 5 shows a year. Your kid could be in the Nutcracker. In fact, I should add that to their lead magnet. That is so cute. And
well,
then
the other side of it is your kid will get to experience something really special. Not from the provider's point of view, but from the parents, and what our parents tell us consistently is how much their children love that first experience on stage, or love being able to pursue their dreams or whatever that is. I mean, you could romanticize
you're going to get in school and you might never ever do dance again. You might never do an art. I mean, when they do art, I mean, they actually do like pottery art and like advanced art.
Right.
They theater on stage. They have stunning costumes no matter what they do. The kid is going to remember that forever, but so is the parent.
Right.
Like how many other times, like, I don't know if you've ever priced out dance school, but it's really expensive. And on top of the school, you have to then pay for the costume, which are also really expensive. So by adding that in, but then making sure where they fail is they really need to ensure that those people go back to the advocate and say, hey, we're filming this on YouTube live. Here's where you can get the link. Share this link.
Right.
So my husband, I mean, he's an attorney. I can promise you the judge doesn't care if he has a case that his daughter is in a show. Doesn't care. Not going to cancel court for it, not moving dockets around, anything like that. But I can send him a link, and he's literally watched in court before when the judge is not in there, right? You can ask them to share to social media. And then the big one about closing that sale is give them a reason to close themselves.
Yeah.
Give them a free day. Give them a free half week. There's your hand.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the key. That's the creating the environment for them to buy. When you've created that environment in such a way, there's not really much selling involved. That's, again, I've had these conversations about, we've talked about closing questions and things like that. Quite frankly, sales becomes really easy when people want what you have. So it's your invitation to make what you have desirable. That's it. Don't make it hard. Make it hard to get a hold of. Don't make it confusing. Don't talk over their head. Don't be too hoity-toity and special.
Take the friction out. Wherever
That's
there's
exactly it.
remove it.
Make it the path of least resistance. I haven't really shared much of that on these, but it is something I share in training consistently, is make what your offer is the path of least resistance. People are basically lazy. They will take the path of least resistance. A river, a dam breaks, the water goes on the path of least resistance.
Yep.
It doesn't go, oh, here, there's a mountain. Let me just try to force my way over the top of it. No, it goes through the low spots to travel where it can easily. Well, people are much the same way. We live in an immediate gratification, me, now society. People are busy. People are, if they're not busy, they make themselves busy. So making it understandable, making it easy to consume, make it easy to work with, all those things is what's going to give you the leg up versus somebody else in any situation.
Yep. No, it is. We are right at pretty much 10 o'clock, but I think that I'm hoping, unfortunately, Maggie, who specifically requested this one, was on a different time zone. It was going to be 7 in the morning when we started, and she's not a morning person. But obviously we have the recording, so she can see it later. And I'm actually going to save this and make it available to our members. And I'll even share it with our partner group, a digital marketer. But preschools, I mean, I would like to think, we all would like to think that every single one of us is a unique snowflake, since we've already used that word once, right? That
no,
every
you
single
use
one
that
of us,
word, not me. You used it.
I did. I used it differently than most people do. But we do think that we're that unique, that no other one is just like us, right? And it's just simply not true. We all fall into a handful of categories. And when it comes to a preschool and when it comes to kids, we have the same issues. We really love our kids, but we need some place to put them during the day. And we would like them to move out of the house one day and be successful.
It's called reality.
A little reality. That's all we really want. And if you just address how we want that information and how we want to handle those objections that we're coming up with, take that friction out. Again, just to kind of like recap what we did here with the customer value journey, this is nothing special. To any marketer would understand this, and even a business owner, these are really basic things. Google ads. This is where people are finding preschool. This word of mouth, but you cannot affect the word of mouth that easily. And when you are looking to put money in your pocket today, Google ads is going to be the place to go. A comprehensive blog post that wasn't, I even put other schools in there. I obviously wrote it to cater to their school, but the blog post is simply top 10 preschools in Frisco, Texas. That's it. That is what people type into Google. That is what the title of the blog post is. I wrote it mostly that, like, before I tell you which the best ones are, let me tell you the criteria and what you should be looking for in a great preschool. And then I did a tiny little spot that, an H2 copy that says top 10 schools and preschools in Frisco, Texas. I listed out 10. Of course, ours was number 1. I put the competitor, I lost them in the bottom around number 7. And then just listed the schools that mom's already talking about. They're already hearing these names. I might as well just accept what it is and include them, and then capped it off. And all throughout that blog post are the capability to download information, read more about their schools, meet the teachers, and directing them to other places on the website I want them to go to, but mostly price. These are the 2 big ones. Download price and schedule a free discovery day, which is free 4 hours of daycare. I think that's the golden ticket right there. When they come in, there's 3 levels to this Excite that I think seal the deal. Indoctrinate the kid, make sure they experience everything the school has to offer, and make some friends. Friends are important. It is the single number 1 predictor of how long that you will live, is your social circle. Send pics to the parents throughout the day of the kids having a tremendous amount of fun with bright colors and all that jazz. A premium gift bag, so some little goodie bag with the school logo on it, with things like the coloring book was spot on with your logo on it, so custom little tiny coloring book, not expensive. It had all the worksheets, all the pricing, so all the price stuff that they would have gotten here, printed out in color in the gift bag with a book co-written by Jack Canfield and the director, which I actually priced this out. It's gone up in price by double, but it was $10,000. It is right now. If you want to do that exact same thing, you only have to write one chapter and automatically bestseller. And then make sure that you understand that there's an ascension process that might have to happen. Someone like me, I was immediately looking for full days, 5 days a week, because I have a job, J-O-B, understanding the customer. For a mom who's at home, she might only need half days for 2 days a week. She just wants a little bit. But having that ability to ascend them, and once they're in the program, hey, you know, if you could do full day, they could get a bigger part in the, you know, the dance. Obviously, 2 days is not enough to train them. They need daily training. Hey, we're doing a private kindergarten. You know, your kid loves their school. Wouldn't they like to stay? Hey, your kid has graduated out of our program, but we have this other musical arts, performing arts lessons. They could continue their training. And then simply making sure you get those reviews and you get them to post on social. That will actually be bigger probably than an overall review. At first, you're almost ascending them through the advocate stage. Get them just to post on social media. Share the YouTube live of their kids performing. Take pictures of, you know, the kid with the roses. Whatever it is that, you know, they haven't done it yet, but I want them to. Getting a social media station where they can have fun and take pictures and change it up once a month. And then simple, hey, you've got mom friends. You're going to recommend us anyway. You might as well make some money off of it.
Yep.
So simple, easy peasy. I say that. This is what I do for a living. But get those customer value journeys worked out specifically to your school. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Be happy to answer them.
Perfect. Great job.
I try.
You did great. It's awesome.
But I hope that helps Maggie specifically. And like I said, if you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. And if you would like help with your own funnel and your own sales process from either Scott or I, then go over to doublefunnel.tv and apply. We're constantly in need of new people and new materials that are unique. Right. So it could be you.
That's right.
All right, guys. Happy Monday. I've got members to go take care of.
Say, hey, members. Hey, all PGN members.
Rayanne and Randy and David and all them. All right, bye, guys. And y'all have a great Monday, and I will see you tomorrow with Scott.
See ya. Bye.
Now I got to actually sign off.